Hello, Outperformers. Hope you've had a great week and I guess first great 3 quarters of the year. Can't believe it's October. Can't believe we're into the fourth quarter. But yeah, I think back to my high school football days, and I remember between the third and the fourth quarter, we would all huddle up as a team and we would all hold up the number four. We would all chant four, 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 basically meaning that outperformers, you look at outperforming athletes, teams, businesses, everything else. Do you start fast in the first quarter? Certainly. But our goal was always to finish strong and to dominate that fourth quarter. And that's really what outperformers do. You don't let off the gas until you're across the finish line or until the clock expires. And ultimately, that was our goal. And that's a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. And I think of yesterday, I was speaking to an amazing group of Rotarians, and I was talking about these different things. And, the open-ended question that I kind of posed to them was, let's just say that you and I are sitting down on December 31st and we're having a beer, a glass of wine, or a cup of coffee. And you were to say to me, you know what, Scott, I really outperformed the norm in the fourth quarter because of, what would that look like? And what would come after that because of? And it's not my place here to tell you what your goals should be personally and or professionally. But if you were to really look at it, and I'm not sure if this is something that you've thought about or if it's just something that I'm kind of posing to you now, but what would that look like as far as you really outperformed in the fourth quarter? And some of the advice that I gave these Rotarians was, first off, you have to have a singular focus. So just pick one thing. And as I kind of say this, or if you've thought about it before, you might have multiple things where you're like, well, I would like to do this and that and the other thing. Okay, that's fine. But you need to prioritize that in terms of 1A, 1B, and you don't get to move on to 1A until you've crossed off number 1. You don't get to move to 1B until you've crossed off 1 and 1A, because you have to have, what is the most important thing? And if I were to just narrow it down in terms of a singular focus, 90 days is a ton of time. And whether it's a new skill you want to learn or a hobby or some type of health goal, yes, believe it or not, you can achieve health goals even though you have the holidays coming up in the fourth quarter. Or if it's some business target that you want to hit, narrowing that down to just one singular thing that you're going to give your undivided attention and your focused energy, you're going to be so much more successful if you do that. So that's really the first thing, is having the singular focus, and if you have multiple things, to absolutely prioritize that. And then the second thing that I really want you to understand, if you look at any type of behavior modification and how we ultimately achieve goals, really all goal achievement is, in a nutshell, is it's a function of two different factors. One, it's a function of the degree of change you are trying to make, or kind of the severity or the intensity of the goal you're trying to accomplish. It's a function of that with your motivation to actually make that change. So let's just say that I want to adopt a health goal in the fourth quarter. And, I have some unfinished business and I set out to do this in 2016 at the start of it and kind of lost sight of it through the summer, let's say. And I'm not exercising at all right now. And then I decide I'm going to start and I'm going to exercise 2 hours every single day, which is a pretty severe goal or a pretty intense goal to try to achieve. Well, I better be highly motivated if I'm going to achieve that goal. No, in other words, I better have a burning desire to give it my 100% focus and my effort towards that every single day, because if I don't have that, there's no way that I'm going to make that severe of a change. Now, to look at it another way, if you were to break that down, if you were to simplify it a little bit more and say, you know what, I know I'm not exercising at all right now, so I'm going to start off with just 15 minutes a day or 20 minutes a day, which is totally fine. Like, it's not like you're less of a person or you should look down at yourself because you're only making these small changes, because the small changes repeated over time end up having the big results. But if you chunk that down and if you say, you know what, okay, I'm not going from here to 2 hours a day, I'm just going down to, let's say, 15 to 20 minutes a day, well, that's a much, much more manageable change that won't take such a severe kind of singular focus and effort towards ultimately achieving that. So to really think about it, and I do think in this respect, it's important to be realistic with what will it take to get you from point A to point B, whatever it is that you would like to achieve in the fourth quarter. So that's the first part of it. And then another strategy I just thought of that I would like to share with you is, I think back to when I was really training hard for marathons and things like that. And typically your training program would be, let's say, 3 months long. And it was usually, you don't go out there and you don't run hard every single day. Usually the hard workouts were Tuesdays were the speed sessions, Thursdays were the hill workouts, and then Saturday and Sunday were the long runs. And Tuesdays were the thing that I hated the most, and I kind of dreaded the most, going there and doing speed work at the track. Like, I really didn't enjoy going and doing that. But then the other part of it is that, and this I think holds true for anything in life, oftentimes the things that we want to do the least are the things that will impact us the most. So one strategy that I found really helpful is you look at something like a 90-day goal for the fourth quarter. What I would actually do is I would say, okay, if I really don't enjoy these speed workouts, even though I need them and even though I know they're going to make me faster on race day and I'm going to get the most bang for my buck, even though I don't like them, I'm just going to write down, you know what, I've only got 12 Tuesdays, let's say, in that 90-day period. And even though some of those are going to be step back weeks and you're not going to be going quite as hard, I'm just going to write down the 12 Tuesdays. And then each time you look at it, you can say, okay, you know what, checked off that Tuesday. Now I've only got 11 left. Checked off another one. Now I've only got 10 left. And it makes it a lot more manageable in terms of those 90-day segments. Instead of, even 90 days can seem like a really long period of time if you have to do something, if you feel like you're you still can't see that light at the end of the tunnel. So this only works for certain goals. Like last week I put out, the goal of writing a book. And if you were to kind of look at that and say, okay, instead of writing, let's say, a page a day, you're going to just devote 3 or 4 hours every single Tuesday to writing a book. Well, you could look at that and you can say, okay, I only need to do this 12 times. And over the course of the fourth quarter, you're going to get a heck of a lot of progress done by the time that is all said and done. You can certainly apply to different type of business tasks. I'm known for kind of theming your days, where you've got maybe a money-making Monday or a follow-up Friday or whatever it might be, where you just pick one thing and you really give it a ton of massive action on one day. Might not be something you enjoy, but might be something that ultimately pays the biggest dividends or results. And if you just do that, I know you're going to be successful. So just to kind of recap some of the things we talked about. One, pick one thing. Give it your singular focus. Again, think about really, because it's going to go by in a blink of an eye. Like, I can't believe we're in October already and we're going to blink and we're going to be it's going to be the new year and it's going to be January 1st, so we're going to be kicking off 2017. But don't do what most people do, where you just mail it in for the rest of the year, just saying, I know holidays are coming up and that between Thanksgiving and Christmas and the other holidays is just going to be a wash. Like, don't do that. You can still achieve a heck of a lot in whatever area of your life you're looking to do in it. But pick one thing that's really going to be meaningful as far as you outperforming the norm in the fourth quarter. Give it that singular focus with one thing. Prioritize your tasks or your goals if you need to. Chunk it out into the different days if you have a goal that's congruent with that. And then really just be honest with yourself and ask, okay, how big is this behavior modification? How intense is this goal? How kind of severe is the goal relative to what I'm doing now? And then also be honest with yourself about how motivated are you to really make this change? Like, do you have a burning desire where you will run through a brick wall and nothing is going to stop you from achieving it? Or is it just something where, like, I would like to do this and I would like to make it happen, but I'm not willing to totally alter areas of my life to do that? And then make your goal congruent, the intensity and the severity of it, based on your motivation. You do that, you're going to be successful. So I wish you all the best to the fourth quarter. I'm wearing my Ryder Cup shirt here, so if you're watching this in the U.S., go Team USA, and I wish you guys all the best, as always, of health, happiness, high performance. Have a great day.